Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening right now in the podcast. It is Sunday, February the 2nd, 2025. Okay, I cannot believe it's February already. But here we are, you guys. I wanted to come here and share this news of something that happened to a hiker. And I know there's a lot of people that go hiking and we'll go hiking, camping, we'll go out for a walk. Anything can happen. Like I normally will come here and tell you guys, but before I continue, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who has been subscribing on YouTube. Please don't forget to subscribe and share. And thank you so much to everybody who's listening in the podcast. Don't forget to follow me on Spotify, okay? I heard this story last night, and it was this article. It was posted a couple of days ago, but I was like, this is a perfect example of how your life can change at any moment. This is something that I always come and tell you guys, right? It says here, a hiker, Little Burn, from a camping Skillet, leads him to have double amputation, but he vows to get back on the trail, which is great news. If you go through something dramatic and then you have that optimism and you have that faith and you cannot wait to go do something to do the same thing again, that's always good to hear. A lot of people I know, when they encounter some terrible situations in life, they do get into depression and things like that. And it's okay, for the moment, I guess you can say, to be sad. It's okay. You have to let the emotions out, but do not dwell on things like that for too long, because you have to remember the sun always comes out, and so every time there's a new day, it's a new opportunity. You have to do your best to keep moving forward and always having the faith in the Lord. Okay, so it says here that in less than a month, outdoorsman Matt Armstrong developed sepsis and lost both of his legs, but he's saying things can be overcome. Matt Armstrong, 40 years old, was camping with his friends when he sustained a small burn on his thumb while removing a skillet from the campfire. His ankle began to swell 2 days later, the start of a life-threatening sepsis infection that would lead to his legs being amputated below the knee. How tragic is that? That's crazy. With the help of prosthetics, he hopes to be hiking mountains again next year, right? I always tell you guys to try your best to not live in fear. Okay, you have to know God does not give you the spirit of fear, but of power. And like I said, it's okay when you go through difficult situations if you feel sad or whatever, right? But don't dwell on that too long, because that can lead to something worse, right? Always find your hope in the Lord Jesus Christ. Pray about it. Pray about everything that you're feeling, right? Always communicate with your Creator. What is going on? How do you feel like that? And then through prayer, right, to that communion with the Lord, right, and other people, obviously. But when you're praying, you're communicating straight with your Creator, right? Through prayer, you express your feeling to the Father, and you express your concerns. You ask the questions, right, and then you get this peace that surpasses all understanding. And this is something that I can see here in this case, because after all of that, somebody else will be like, I want nothing to do with the outdoors, right? I'm not going outside again. I am not going camping. I am never going to cook outside, things like that. We are vulnerable, right? There are many things that we're vulnerable to, right? I remember one time, I remember I was in New York for a New Year fashion weekend. I remember getting to Grand Central, and I was so excited, right? I was so excited, and I get to Grand Central. I almost got attacked by this man on Grand Central, this homeless man. He came straight to my face, and thanks be to God, I was very observing. I was able to stop his hand like right here before he hit me in my face. And I was like, that's crazy. And there was like, it's so crazy. It was a split second when I went back to the hotel I'm like, I want to get out of this place. I'm not coming back to the city. Forget the fashion show. I'm going to tell them that I didn't, that I didn't show up, that something happened, that I had an emergency, that I have to leave. And then in the same moment, I'm like, I forget this. I've been working on this collection for so long. I have a purpose for this. You guys know my whole idea for Julissa Designs is to share the gospel, right? So I was like, I'm here to share the gospel. I'm here to present my designs. There's no way I'm going back, and he's not gonna scare me like that. So it's almost like your own soul is like saying, don't let that stop you. You gotta keep moving forward. So thanks be to God for those moments, right? It says here that the 40-year-old from San Diego, who now lives in Castle Rock, Colorado, has previously sustained plenty of minor injuries in the wilderness. It says here. In 2016, he spent 151 days walking from Mexico to Canada. So he is he's an expert, right? He says here, quote unquote, I got a lot of cuts and scrapes and abrasions and little burns and all kinds of things during that trip. But while camping with friends on December 2nd, 2024, he suffered an injury that would be like no other. He said, I was just transferring the skillet from the campfire to the table and burned a portion of my thumb in the process. I was a little burned. I didn't think anything of it at the time. 2 days later, Armstrong said he felt his left ankle started to swell, something he attributed to getting out of the camper wrong. I just thought I twisted it, right? And he said at the same time the burn wasn't healing, and he said though he's been putting antibiotic cream on it and keep getting a bandage, when he started talking crazy in his sleep, okay, and his toenails turned purple, he knew he needed to go to the emergency room. On the way to the hospital, Armstrong checked his symptoms online, and he realized he had sepsis, which is a life-threatening condition where the body is responding improperly to an infection. So, good thing that, I know a lot of the time people say, don't go on the internet, do not self-diagnose, but a lot of the times it's good to have information to kind of take action immediately, especially if you're far away from medical attention, to be like, okay, maybe I should try this thing, right? So good thing that he took action after reading that on the internet. And then Armstrong's mother, okay, as well as his wife Megan, stayed by his side for 6 days as he remained in a coma. He progressed to toxic shock syndrome, and the body really quickly started to eat away itself. Wow. What an infection that he had, right? He said, doctors told me to be prepared for the possibility that I wasn't going to make it. When he woke up from his coma on December 13, he said, my feet were black and I felt like they were being crushed. Doctors started floating the idea of amputation. So it says here, I knew it was a thing, and at first I was like, no, there's no way they are taking my feet, he shares, but he tried to walk in a physical therapy, and it was so painful, and he said that I started to come around and recognize that the feet weren't going to be an option to keep. His mom tried to show him the bottom of his feet to help him decide. And he said, my mom was taking photos, and they looked so black, and the veins were cooked, and he's saying they just look like they'd never be able to be used again. And he said it was a tough choice, of course, right? Especially because now he needs to adjust to his new lifestyle, right? So on December 23rd of 2024, this past year, he did have the surgery to remove both his legs below the knee, and he's actually what he does for a living. He's actually a therapeutic coach for men who has been released from prison through his business called Raise Up Recovery. Wow, that's amazing. Not only is it it's his business, but he's also inspiring other people to get back after being in jail. So It also says here that as he looks ahead towards recovery, Armstrong hopes to hit his stroll again, with a 14,000-foot elevation in mind. It says here, which I just found out as I'm doing this episode for you guys, a GoFundMe has been established to help him with the cost. So you guys know, let me see if he's still taking donations. Yes. So as you guys know, I come here and always tell you guys, and I love to share GoFundMe, because when we hear stories like this, when people are going through difficult times, I do believe it's a good way. GoFundMe is a good way to come together, even though you don't know the person, right? But to come together as a community to help other people that are struggling and going through a hard time, right? So I see the GoFundMe here. They're still taking donations, so I will be sharing that for you guys to help out. And if you don't, you cannot help in a monetary way, you can always pray for people, right? It's always good to pray for people and to pray especially for somebody who went through something so difficult, but thanks be to God, he didn't lose his life. And now, it's just adjustment of his new lifestyle. So, adjusting to the new prosthetic legs. So let me know, guys, what you think about this. And like I said, if you cannot help, if you cannot donate, you can always share the donation link and also share the video. And let me know, guys, if you experience something similar. I hope not, but I know there's a lot of people a lot of people go traveling and do camping and things like that. And who would have thought, right? Something as simple as cooking outside, transferring the skillet from the pit, from the fire pit, it will lead to something like this. So let me know, guys, what you think. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much for listening in the podcast. Have a good day, everyone. God bless.